How many times did we get, oh, if I can't get what I want, I don't want it? Okay? If that's what's going on, I can explain why that's happening. The one thing is we're not prepared with really going over what the program is in a very simple way. That's one. And another one, the big one, the biggest thing that even my great trainers aren't doing, the ones that pick up the phones and answer the call, even they need work on, they have to prep the client to first be in love with mortgage payment program. Because if they want a mortgage protection program and they're not happy unless they get that, then you are already dead. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So if you heard that before, that means don't show quotes, don't show anything, no matter what you show, you're dead. Because they are conditioned, there we go, it's for you guys. Whoever's writing it down, you guys are smart, because this is where the cool is going to come out that no one's doing it. For anyone who's taking all this in for the first time, don't worry about writing this down. Like I said, it's more just nice show, a nice introduction to what we're doing. So how do you make the client like a mortgage payment program? Let's say their mortgage payments are $1,200. Let's say they have $40,000 of whole life.
Well, you can find out, like Olivia was saying. So what specifically is the whole life? First, you can find out what that specifically is supposed to cover. And could you also find out, like, if the house was supposed to sell, like, how much they think they would get for it?
Let's answer that question too. My apologies. So, 20,000 of it is for my final expenses. Meet Mary. Mary is a single mom. Robert, this guy, put some seeds in this poor girl and then just leaves her. So Mary, tell me about it. Tell me about it. Whoever said that. It's a cruel world for Mary. It's a cold world. There's no blanket for Mary. But with all that being said, she still wants to look after her kids. So she's concerned about this mortgage, and she has 3 kids.
Could you, I'm just going back on a conversation I had with someone.
Can you file for back child support? They can't find him. They can't find him. He may not even be alive. The guy's deadbeat. He's no good. You know what I'm saying? All right, what's your question?
So, does it matter if you would ask the client how much, do you think the house would go for in the market, and then find out what the equity would be within the home to cover that, or no? That's what some coaching was to me, so I wasn't sure if this is something.
Why would that help you?
Well, is that something you would use?
Why would that help? If you can tell me why that would help you, then I can tell you if that's a good idea or not.
Well, I don't know.
Well, okay, here's what I'm going to tell everyone going forward. You can't ask for something if you don't know why you're asking for it. It can't be a good idea if you can't think of a good reason what you get from it.
Well, then the only thing that makes sense to me, if you get that, what makes sense in my head is whatever the remaining balance is, like what Olivia was saying, you can subtract it from the mortgage.
Yes,
and then
we can all, listen guys, we can all do basic math. How are we building value that since they can't protect their mortgage, that they do this mortgage payment program? How is that exciting for them?
Because, let's say if you're gonna do the mortgage payment protection plan for like 1 year, it's gonna pay the mortgage for 1 year. That'll give them time to see what they want to do, put the house up for sale, sell it, roommate, so they can still live in the house, so the bank doesn't take it back.
Okay.
It's gonna buy them time.
Would that be your recommendation?
Yes.
No. Everything sounds great. Here's the problem. Now that you get that part, how do you phrase it in a question where that's what they want to do? Everyone's easy at spotting the need and saying, okay, now you know the next level, so that's how you get them excited about that. Well, that's the thing you want them to get excited about. But you're not recommending anything to them, right? Because we never would do that, right? What we're going to be doing is asking a question. Hey, you know what? This guy, what was his name?
Robert.
Robert. It was Robert, right?
Robert.
Deadbeat Robert, right? Well, you know what? I'm sure he didn't really think much about this, but you know, when you do pass your house down, do you think your kids would want to live here? If they say no, well then the house is on the market. This is a no-brainer. Oh my gosh, you don't want to protect your home mortgage? That's crazy. Why would you want to protect the whole thing? You'd be over-insuring yourself. Now they hate the idea of mortgage protection and love the idea of mortgage payment program. We just started though, right?
Yes.
So, who are you leaving the house to? I don't know. Man, well, don't you think that would be a little bit of an argument for your kids when you pass away? And then now, again, it's more going to selling the house. It's now going into, now money is just needed to buy them time to put it on the market and get rid of the house. So they start liking the idea of it. There's a lot of different ways, but I'm just giving you a couple of many questions to ask where now people are like, yeah, I like that. Most people don't, 99.999% of mortgage protection agents that are trained in mortgage protection don't do that. That little thing. And because they don't do that little thing, it doesn't matter what price it is, what you have to show them, then who cares if this is the best that they can get, because they like the idea of mortgage protection, and as a consumer, they don't get what they want, they're not buying. They're not spending. Does that make sense? So this is really big for your phone work, right? You constantly have to prep people before even presenting the idea to them. You know what I mean? For our agents in the house, they can get away with not being perfect and still sometimes get to sell. But for being on the phone, you know, you really got to get them excited about something to give them your checking account, all that. So these little questions I'm giving you, not questions, but the ways to handle the situation. If you do more of that, you won't spend 45 minutes with somebody on the phone and hear no. When someone spends 45 minutes on the phone and hear a no, or hour, someone close that door. When someone spends 45 minutes or an hour and get a no, they were not conditioning enough. They weren't prepping enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I prep someone to like an idea, then when I present the idea, I already know they're going to say yes. If I don't know someone's going to say yes, that means I didn't prep them, and oh, what do you think about that? I hope you like it, you know, like, and you're hoping that they say, yeah, that works in my budget, game over, right? But there's so many, still to this day, I listen to any agent on the phone, you're getting ins and you're not taking it. Like, I mean, I heard like 3 or 4 times, and we really haven't even been on the phones that much, like, oh my gosh, how could you not take advantage of that? Oh my gosh, how could you not take advantage of that? The more you are into your script and just trying to say the right words, obviously you're not going to catch that. But even the people that are really comfortable, so like when someone says, oh, you know, I heard today, someone was like, oh, I can't make it because I'm overweight. I heard that earlier today. And someone was just like, oh, well, we have programs that'll help you if you're overweight. You know, that is such a big thing. And everyone doesn't see it. No one sees it. And you get a whole bunch of these big things all day long. I'm glad you brought that up. Do you know we've gotten that so much? And that's why we created special programs just like this, just for you. I'm saying the same shit, guys. You don't even write it down, like you can't hear the difference. There's just showmanship in what I'm doing, and you guys are just trying to give the answer. You guys don't seize the opportunity to make this thing as big as possible in your favor. And that was said by someone who's very good on the phone, you know, where I heard that, okay? So, and again, it's one of those things that 99.99% of agents, they don't do. They just go for the appointment. And the reason why I don't have to work very hard when I'm on the phone or in the house. And you'll see that when you take advantage of every little thing, all I'm really doing for when I get on the phone is listen to someone and let them get themselves. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times you let them get themselves and you let them get away with it. You let them off the hook. Or you didn't fully maximize every little comment, every little thing. Because I'm used to 5 seconds will buy me 15 seconds. So these 5 seconds, I'm hearing for someone to say something. Oh, okay, all right, I didn't get that. It's still normal conversation. All right, but I bought me 15 seconds. Okay. If something's gonna come in those 15 seconds or the next 15 or 20, and you guys just aren't listening for it, it's always there. It almost always is. And when they do, I take advantage of it. And then it's not that I'm gonna book an appointment, which is what a lot of new people do. Okay, good. It went my way. Let's book an appointment because I'm scared and I don't want to talk anymore. When that thing goes my way, I know I have the appointment and now I'm relaxed. The ball's in my court. Whenever I want the appointment, I'm going to take it. Does that make sense? Just the actual change of, mind state about the whole thing will make you a better agent if you understand that. We're getting a little off topic, aren't we? So, why do I bring this up? Because this is one of those things that is almost necessary. When I sold Final Expense, 20% of it was a mortgage protection program. No one here is doing 20%. Okay? When I sold mortgage protection leads, 40% of my business was a mortgage payment programs. So if you don't know how to do this, there's so much premium that so many people are missing out on, and you guys will be like that too. So in order to present someone something, you have to ask them questions to condition them to really get them to like it. And so when someone answers these questions, I go, so a lot of people will write down a couple of questions that I asked, right? And then you guys will immediately go, whoa, well then you should get a mortgage payment program and kill it. You know what I mean? Well, I'd say, wow, it's interesting that here we are talking about mortgage protection, and now that I'm talking to you, we're talking about the wrong program. Not because you don't qualify for it, it's the wrong one for you. It's a much easier conversation, don't you guys think? And so now I get them to like mortgage payment program. Now I ask them, well, how long do you think your kids would need? Do you think 6 months? First, I always go like this. How long do you think they would need? And they would rarely have an answer. Sometimes they'd say a year. Sometimes they say 2 years. It's actually not uncommon that you'll get something like that. They're like, all right, well, here's what I'm going to do then. I'm going to show you what a year would look like, what a year and a half would look like, what 2 years would look like. And if we need to look at somewhere lower, we can do that. If we need to look at more years, we could do that too. But if I can show you a program that's affordable, that's somewhere in this range, did I make you happy today? Yes, I got a f***ing sale before I show the program. You get what I'm saying? Whereas, a lot of people are going to f*** this up. I sold it before I even presented it. You get what I'm saying?
So, after you get what they're trying to do, the need, you always summarize it with that question and say, if I did this that fits in the budget, would that make you happy today? So that's the statement that...
It just worked in that particular moment.
Okay.
So there's never going to be like, always I'm going to do this. But if you notice, if I sit down with a client and I say, why am I sitting here? They're going to say, oh, I want to protect my final expenses, they want to do this, they do this. And so I'll always sum up their needs. So what you're saying is you're looking for programs that, one specifically, that's going to make sure that, because Robert was a deadbeat, your 3 kids are not going to have to deal with not only paying for your final expenses, but the mortgage as well. Is that what you're concerned about? And then they say, yeah, okay. So now if I can take care of this in a manner we can find something that's affordable, did I make you happy today? Cool. If you say yeah, then you're not going to say I need to think about it, which is big for you, right? What exactly were you thinking about? Because when we spoke earlier, you were saying that as long as I took care of this problem as affordable, you were going to be good. So is this affordable? They may say, cool, we can work from there. If they say, yeah, it is, but cool, well, we're going to work with that too. You know what I'm saying? When you put yourself in these situations, if you get to the end, you're going to close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it won't be a guess.
Right.
It won't be a guess. You will have dealt with whatever objections are going to come your way before you show the programs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Okay.
I spoke to a lady. She had life insurance, probably about $5,000. She has a mortgage that she splits with her daughter. Now this is all before I got this mortgage protection information. So the angle that I took was per se, getting her something that'll cover the other half when she passes away. So if I were to encounter that situation again, I would present the mortgage protection payment plan in a way where I would ask, how long would you think your daughter would need, to make a decision about the house?
Were you able to protect her mortgage?
Yeah. Was I able to?
Yeah.
No, not at the time.
Why not?
Why not? Because the programs that I presented to her was out of her affordability. She's like, I can't afford this.
Okay, if you can't afford that, how much can you afford? Every person that you ever meet, whatever happens, phone, field, if you leave because someone said they can't afford it, always ask, I understand that's out of your range. What exactly is in your range? Or what exactly can you afford? You will get so much truth that you never got in the 30 minutes prior. You'll be very thankful for asking that question. Number one thing you'll uncover is what?
True.
What's the number one thing you'll find?
Your budget.
No, you would think.
Your other bills.
No. Well, sometimes, yeah. What's the number one thing?
Is there a real true affordability?
No. Anyone want to take any more guesses?
What they value.
So a lot of times you get their concerns. That's number two. There's number one. That's number two. What's that?
What they value.
No.
Their real need, I guess?
No. All right, I'm gonna help you out. So, okay, you got another one?
No, I was just trying to think, but I'll let you go.
That they had no intention of buying insurance in the first place. Right? Okay, you can't afford $40 a month. What's in your range? Well, I just can't afford anything right now. So if I showed something that was $5 a month, you wouldn't be able to do it? No, look, let me show you. No, you don't need to show me. I'm out of here. Nice roaches, by the way. Right, so I can't tell you how many times I'll get calls where, Adam, I'm in an affordability issue, and right now we're at $37 a month. How much lower can you go?
Right.
Is it really going to differ from 27 to 37?
Not even.
Most of the time, no. So the number one thing you find out is that whatever you did in your sales process, you did nothing to really get them to see the value of giving you money to buy life insurance today. So whatever price you would show them would not, I really wish Shelby was here for this, but whatever you show is not good enough. Does anyone have any questions on that? All these little questions I'm showing you, and you guys write down the questions, but all I'm doing is keeping people accountable for what they're saying. In the beginning, I get everyone to say, this is what I need. And then I get them to say, if I can afford it, I'm happy. Happy's very close to saying I'm gonna buy. We're gonna get to the buying part, don't you worry. But we just got in the house at this point. Give it time. We're just conditioning, you know what I'm saying? So once I get them to say that, I'm gonna move away like it never happened. Let's talk about a whole life in term, right? That's what I do, right? Thanks for letting me know that. I'm gonna make a sale. We'll come back to that. Let's talk about whole life in term, because now that we're gonna talk about whole life in term, like, I'm feeling so cool right now because I know I'm about to make a sale. So this is so relaxing for me. Oh, you missed so much, but I'm glad you're here. All the things that you wanted to know. You think I'm being sarcastic.
No, I know you're not.
But it's, okay. Sorry, where are we at?
Whole life in term.
So, so now I know I got the sale, and I'm at ease. I'm showing whole life in term. Really just more going through the process at this point. Okay? Then and I've really engaged them, right? I've really story sold them, right? I go to the final expense programs. They tell me which one they think they can qualify for, right? I pulled away from them again, right? And then we come back to make sure it's affordable. Pick something that you know is affordable, right? So they're looking for a program that's going to cover whatever the need was, right? Now, as long as it's affordable, I made them happy, we have a sale. So if I show them all three, so in this case, random case, I'm off. And this is what happens. I show 3 things for mortgage protection, all 3 things I missed. What do I do now? So you're saying maybe this, maybe not. The 3 choices that you showed, what were the 3 choices?
I know the max was 10, so it was like 10, could have been 10, 8, and 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's problem number 1. What is 10,000?
10,000 would have been her, okay, so 5,000 would have just covered her final expenses. 8,000 would have factored in inflation, then 10,000 would have covered everything.
Oh, I thought we were talking mortgage protection case here.
Oh, so with that client, I didn't know about mortgage protection, so I was speaking about final expense to her.
So we just missed it all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the cool thing is, if someone can't afford final expense, they can't afford mortgage protection. Right? So, unless it's some really cheap term and they're super young, which
She wasn't.
oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
But does anyone have any questions about that? Because it really is what's separating. Everyone says they want to get better at their sales craft. There it is. You get that down. There it is. There's your next level. Everyone says, what's that? If this was I don't know. If this was any kind of game, any kind of chapter in a book, you want to get to that next chapter, this is it. How to condition your client like that. This is the difference between flea market or, whatever we say kind of tactics where we're just peddling something to being a salesperson. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now if you can't even engage with your client, this is so far from you. If you can't engage with your client, you're not work on engaging and then work on prepping and setting them up and things like that. If you can't even hear something, oh, I hate rainy days. And if you can't pick up, oh man, me too. That's why they actually send people out to come by and see them, so your stuff doesn't get lost in the rain. You don't have to go out and get. Like, if you can't hear something like that and make something of that, forget prepping, forget this stuff. You know what I mean? For all those people who can do that, Jason's probably making a sale, and that would be good for him because he's very good at engaging. And I think the next level is to prep somebody where the sale's made before you're even offering something. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel like you go in, yeah, you can engage someone really good. I think the amount of prepping you do is very little, only because you just haven't been seen that. But we are all given the innate ability, not all, but a lot of people are given the innate abilities to naturally engage somebody Very good. Now, if you know your system inside and out, you can really prep somebody, and then when you deliver what you know you're gonna do, it's already done. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do people get value from what I'm saying?
Yes.
Have I ever said any of this before? Nope, I certainly haven't. Here we are, we're at the next level, we're at the next chapter, we're at the next part. You guys can call, engage people, make sales, fantastic. But this, I grade a D- on just about everybody in this room if we had to test on prepping. And that's, if you get good at that, you'll be better on the phones, you'll be better in the house. You get good at that, and I guarantee that your contact to appointment to presentation ratio is through the roof. You want to know why your appointment to presentation ratio is between 20 and 30% and not 50 to 70%? There it is. Stop listening for little nuggets. That's it. That's it. Because if you prep somebody, if you understand how to do that, then you understand to have a really good quality call. You understand how to get the appointment without risking someone saying no to you most of the time. There's a whole world of difference that happens to your business. So that's it. Does anyone have any questions on prepping your client? This is new. This is like a whole new chapter in the book of insurance selling that has never been written. Right? You never heard this ever in your life, right? This is just another level for that APOX life. And there's plenty of more. It's cool, right? So, Noah, are you sure no one has any questions?
Yes.
Because this is a tough thing.
Okay, so to summarize, you said the mortgage protection is like, you can do the ROP, the term to cover, or you said the mortgage payment program. But then she was talking about the calculation to find out how much to cover. Could you go over that? I'm trying to.
She completely missed. She was doing a final expense program for someone who needed a mortgage protection program. So let's talk, I'm gonna give you one last sales concept. The sales concepts are just little shiny things. What I was talking about before is the real deal. To be able to prep your client is but, so if you have a client that you want me to go over the calculations, how do I come up with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the mortgage protection.
Let's say
payment.
I have here we go. Solve it. Now don't worry about prepping. Once we get this, we'll talk more about prepping. What does this person need?
You're 65, right?
Yep. What does that person need? What does this client need? It's not even that complicated.
Is it critical to know how much, how long they had the mortgage for?
It's a 30-year mortgage, is 65 years old.
And she just got it?
Yep. So they're 66 years old. So please, instead of just saying a fraction of an answer, what does this person need? How much of what? No.
Or, no.
I mean, you could sell it like that if you want. All right, so yeah. So you could say 150 if you want to just avoid this. You could say 130,000. Okay, you can't do a 30-year term because there's no term that goes till 96 years old. So we're gonna have to either come up with, even $130,000 whole life policy would be silly because hopefully they'll be paying that policy down, right? So there's going to be some prepping to say, something would be silly for you to even protect us. Once we have that prepping conversation, they say, okay, I'm open to it, and we got to get their payments, right? So then it would be, how long would you want your house paid for? Now, if I said 3 years, what do?
That's 30%.
So 3 years, I feel comfortable, I have complete peace of mind. If I had 3 years of payments, what are we doing here?
Well, you're figuring out what the premium, what he's paying every month and for the year and times it by 3, and then that's how much coverage you need.
Okay, yes. So here, it's $1,200 per month, times by 12, which is like, I don't know, $13,000 or something like that.
14,400.
14, how is that 14? They're paying 12.
14,000.
Yeah,
I have a good question.
so 14,000.
14,000.
Yeah, so they're paying, so times that by 3 is 42,000. So that's what 3 years is. So, what are the numbers you're gonna show?
So 43,200 takes care of, for sure, the 3-year payment, so then you can show 2 other options as well.
Well,
Two other
I have
options.
to show 2 other
Okay,
options.
okay, then you can.
Everyone's
show the
like,
options.
okay, it's really
Obviously,
simple, do the calculations. We're salespeople, right? We're not pamphlets, right? So we have to have other options, we know that. So again, the question is, what numbers do we show?
That one, we want another number to take into consideration inflation and maybe even if they become disabled or critically ill,
Okay,
to cover that.
no,
Okay.
give me another one.
That one.
It's very important, not because we come into this, but this is like testing our sales brain right here. Even if you've never dealt with this, you should know what to do based on what we've done in final expense sales. It's the same thing.
I would ask for a range, so that would gauge like what prices to show.
No, not necessarily. I mean, if you can get the range, you always get a range, but there hasn't been a room that I can see where I can segue into properly getting the range without looking tacky. So what am I doing here? Where's my money? Where's my cooking cord? All right. So what else we got, guys? It's really important because it's kind of telling me that when you guys are on the field, you really don't know what programs to show people.
One is
This is easy stuff.
the 4,800. One's the cover for the 3 years and the
Okay.
4 years, so your family can have it for 3 years.
Yeah.
The second option is the cover for inflation, because you know the value.
No, she just said the same
You
thing.
can do one with
Oh, that's
ROP, so they have the option of
No,
getting
they
their money
can't
back.
get term.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot, I forgot. So one can just be to the basics. Well, we said no for inflation. Okay, then I need some help.
The minimum, maximum, and total peace of mind.
Okay, well, that's actually not bad. That's kind of what we're doing here, but not like that. Close, very very good.
I'll be showing year 3, 2, and 1, and pretty much I'll let them know it's gonna
What's
be
3,
front-
2, and 1?
So the most they can do is usually 40,000. So I'm not gonna tell them it's gonna cover the full 3 years. So depending on how much, because I always factor that the payment is gonna be paid
What
down
is
as
3,
well.
2, and 1?
Year 3, year 2, year 1.
Exactly. Exactly. Why are we making this so complicated? What are you gonna do before showing those options, Chris? Because I want 3 years.
Mhm.
Why am I looking at 1 and 2? You gotta prep me. So this is what
Yeah,
we were
okay.
talking about before, Shelby, if you're listening. We did a whole thing on how to prep your client, which is a huge thing that we're all lacking on the phone and in the house. If you wanna know why, if you wanna increase, if if when you book an appointment, you're anywhere between 10 to 30% in a show-up rate. So if I book 40 appointments and only 10 are there, this is why. Only this. Only this. If you can do this, everything else needed, you'll be fine. Then you'll have a 50% to 70% show-up ratio or people will call a lot to reschedule, but you will not consider. No way. So I'm sorry that I had to pivot and come back to that. Well, where are we at before I?
Why would they want?
So what before I do the 3, 2, 1? What do I have to do first? The prepping, right? I have to make them feel good. What if they only can afford 1? What if they can only afford year 2? So you guys went straight for year 3, inflation, more. Trust me, in a situation like that, we're showing things that are between $50 to $250 a month. If they can afford more, they will tell me. Promise. But we got to show 3 conceptual, not 5, 8, and 10. And I kind of get you did have conceptual things to that. But a lot of people will just show 3 random numbers. If you go on all this social media stuff, no one knows how to conceptually sell. They just show 3 random numbers, right? We're not going to do that here, right? So when we show what's going on, we're not going to say, okay, so we have, 42,000, 24,000, and 15,000. We're not going to do that, right?
Right.
So we're going to say to cover your mortgage for a year, it's going to be this much. Cover your mortgage for 2 years, it's going to be this. That's not getting replaced, guys. No one's going to come in and show something cheaper and replace it. Because like, holy shit, this is going to cover my mortgage. No one's going to say, okay, well, how about for $16,000, I can do $80 a month. It won't even get that far. No, your clients won't even know, unfortunately, how much insurance they have. They just know that this is my 2-year payment program. That's what happens when you add value, which is what this conversation stems from. When you add value, and they're just not numbers, no one's replacing your program if they all have meanings to it, because there isn't a mortgage payment program. You know what I'm saying? What's up?
So can you break it down again? I'm not sure if it just went past my head. So in other words, when you're explaining your 1 and 2, could you break that down again for me?
So you have to prep them. I'll go through this over and over and over and over. It's something everyone in here needs work on. Okay, I know that you want 3 years of protection, and I know that if I can show you a program like this that's affordable, I get that I made you a happy person, right? But you'd have to agree, if we only take care of 1 or 2 years, I mean, that's gonna go a long way too, right?
Yes.
So if you can afford even just a year or 2, I mean, I still made you happy, right? I'm gonna try to get 3, but I'll still make you happy in 1 or 2?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, if they say, no, I want 3, or yes, either way, it sounds like you want life insurance. That's a good question. I like asking questions that no answer can hurt me. You're immortal, like you're unstoppable, you know what I mean? You can't go wrong. That's why you can just sit there and let the process work itself out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the only reason why I say we got to stop with these flea market tactics and all that, because you don't always win. Now it's by chance. I don't like that. I don't like things by chance. I like when I get on the phone with someone, as long as they don't hang up with me, and I want to have an appointment, I will have an appointment with them. I like that when I'm in the house, as long as they don't have a vicious dog that will come out and attack me midway in the appointment. If they have a check and a need, I have a sale every time. And it's not because the premium or the face amount or I know if I go into a house and it's it looks funny, and I don't mean funny as in necessarily not well kept, which as part of that. If I go into a house, the guy's collecting cars, the guy's got George Washington's musket, this is a final expense case here, whatever it is, whatever this odd case is, I want to prep on what is your affordability. So I'm in this house, and I'm really feeling him out on what his affordability was, is this real? What's going on here? And he made it very clear that if he had a need, blank check, take care of it. So I was in a house like that, I'm okay, all I gotta do is find a crack in the foundation. And I have him as a client. And it happened, it was very easy. He did everything very good. He used a 5-year look back, put all of his assets in his kids' names, so he's prepared for everything. And I asked him, why am I here? He did everything great. All my education, he was an attorney. All my education that I ever had from New York Life, I'm like, man, he did it. So I asked him, why am I here? He's like, just to tell me that I got everything taken care of. If you see something, let me know. Well, I'm hearing about all this. All the assets are in your kids' names. You don't have any insurance because you don't need it, because everything, you don't even need estate planning, it's all taken care of. But what do you have for your final expenses? And he was like, what is that? 20, 30, 40, 50,000? It's in the bank. I say, yeah, but when you pass away, do you really want your kids to worry about that going to the bank? Don't you want a program put in place so when that time happens, kids don't even have to worry about it, you don't have to think about it? I like that. And I showed him, I said, okay, well, this was Forrester's now, I only control them up to 35,000. We have 15, we have 25, we have a 35. Give me the most. Whatever's gonna get rid of this. Didn't matter what the premium was. Because it was sold to the point where I found it. I found a level of discontent and it bothered him and it didn't matter. Pay it. And the value was there. Peace of mind. Going forward, I know everything's okay. What did it cost me? $187, $137? Who cares? You know what I mean? Now, where if I go into a house and it's falling apart, yeah, I'm gonna want to feel them out of what they can afford too. Just kind of know what I'm getting myself into. You know what I mean? And there are ways on doing that where you don't have. It's very tactful and they don't know what's going on. You know. So, does anyone have any questions on that?
Could we do some role playing with prepping?
Yeah, sure. Now? Sure. Who would like to go? Would you like to go?
I can go, but I don't know quite yet. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Sure you do. He knows how to do it. I know he knows how to do it. Watch this. Sell me this marker. Here, sell me this marker.
So Adam, during your presentation right now,
Yes.
when you're trying to get your point across,
Yes.
if everybody in this room is not fully understanding what you're talking about, how are you going to demonstrate an example to us?
Okay, why is that not prepping?
Okay, we'll try again. Okay, Adam, during your presentation, you have a point that you were looking to get across, correct?
Sure.
Okay. And, all right, so,
So let me give you an example.
Can I try?
okay.
Yeah, sure, Ty. The man behind the camera.
Sell you this.
Sell me the marker.
Why do you want it?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Then why am I selling it to you?
I guess you're not, because I'm not buying it.
Facts.
Facts. That's why the man behind the camera. So what he was wanting was distribution. I want it. Here you go.
Let him try again.
So what should we do first to sell me this marker?
Ask a question?
We're never going to say that again. I want people to start talking more specific. Ask a question. Say a statement. Write a paragraph. You know, what are we going to do? Someone give me something.
Find discontent in his situation right now.
You know, that's pretty good. Find discontent. Okay. You got to know where there's a sweet spot. Right? Okay. What are we going to do after that?
Show him how the marker will be a solution to his problem.
No. That's your problem. No.
What?
I got you. No. What do you do next?
Oh, I would do something.
That's what you do in insurance too. You'll
Okay,
see.
let's fix that.
Yeah, let's fix it. Yeah.
I would do something different.
Hold on. Step one. Is that?
I'm not touching on that then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Olivia, do you want to say step one for everyone so we get back to what did you say first?
I said
Find the need, right?
Discontent.
Find the place of discontent, right?
Okay,
Okay,
so.
what, now that you found the place of discontent, what do you do next? It's the same formula over and over and over again. What do you do next? There are one or two things, depending on what you say next, because we're freestyling, right? There's one or two things that you say next makes the difference between peddling and selling.
Qualify yourself on why you're the person to help.
No,
Okay.
that's fine, but no, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay. You should be already qualified before we get here, right? In your sales process, right? One of the first things we do, intro, purpose, and then there's the qualifying, right?
Mhm.
So we're in the process right now. Peeps, you're selling me this marker.
So, I mean, never mind.
Okay, not bad, not bad. Anyone got anything else?
I can say condition.
Okay, so condition is okay. I'll take that. Let's go more into that. What do you mean by conditioning?
Well, I didn't know what I meant by condition.
Okay. So anytime we're gonna say stuff, we gotta know what we're saying. We can't. I see these in social media. They put up these pictures, and it just has all these words: leadership, hardworking, motivation. We're not gonna do that here, right? Talk to me.
So since we're in the process, we have to get to the payoff. So how
No.
will it benefit us?
What do
Okay.
you mean, no? That's what I have written down.
Okay. If we're in the process, right, we can't leave until we're ready for the payoff, right? So what do we have to do in this process?
Well, okay, if we were trying to figure out what the discontent was.
Got the
Okay, so we
discontent.
got the discontent. So now it's
What do
about
you do next?
how we can make you happy.
One thing is missing.
Am I on
The answer, I don't have to harp. That's what I'm saying. There's none of that stuff. It's all gone. Because when I put a magnifying glass on not just the need, but how they feel about not having this need taken care of, it becomes so much more powerful. So I go up here, hey Adam, I know you don't need a marker right now. I'm gonna take away his, well, I don't need a marker. Now he can't say it to me, right? Because I took it away. I know you don't need a marker right now. That's why I'm not talking to you. Guard down, right?
Mhm.
If I don't say that, he's just saying, I don't need a marker. First thing he'll say, right?
Correct.
Already took it away. Look at that. Okay? So, I know you don't need a marker. But, have you ever needed a marker before? Probably not. Me? Many times. You see me? Very awkward. Go and just happened 30 minutes ago, right? Yes. How embarrassed were you when you needed a marker and it wasn't there? Oh my gosh, extraordinarily embarrassed. Tell me a story about it. You really want to hear this? Yeah, your most embarrassing story. Okay. After I tell my most embarrassing story of not having a marker, how passionate will I get about buying a marker for the next 5 or 10 minutes will blow your mind. Does that make sense to anybody?
Yes.
That's what we're talking about, conditioning, right? But how are we conditioning? Right? And so that's me prepping. Right? And it can be done a lot of different ways. It depends on what's going on. We're talking about markers. Right? Life insurance. Oh, I want to cover my final expenses. Oh, okay. Have you known anyone that ever needed a policy but never got one? Whoa. What are you going to hear from that one? Someone says yes. What was that like? Whoa. You're going to hear some fucked up shit right now. I'm so sorry. But this is going to be some dark, dark stuff. If that's what you want to emotionally reach your clients, wow. But that's what I'm talking about, prepping. Nobody teaches that because they don't know. They don't know. But living that AFOX life, we teach it because we know it.
Zoom in right.
I should have held it. Does anyone have any questions on that? Next level stuff, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. What time is it? How are we doing on time?
Time to
It's
that.
time, yeah.
Okay. Hope you guys found value in it. Alright. But I'll just say one more thing. You're all out there watching, saying, can I do it too? And I want you to know, maybe.